And welcome to Odd Musings, episode 192. Another glorious week
Can you believe it?
talking comic book stuff and WandaVision and fun stuff. 8 more weeks till we hit episode 200. So,
Yep. And Tom Brady gathered another Infinity Stone. So he, in his quest to rule 7. The universe, he now has 7. He outranks Thanos. He also outranks Michael Jordan.
Yes. Yep, beat him by 1. And then it's funny, the only one they can find that has more championships is a wrestler. I'm going, that doesn't really count because they win and lose the same one over and over again. You know, it's
right.
it's I mean, yes, it's different wrestling matches, but you know, it's not like a full season to get to this point to lose it and have to start all over again. It's like, you know, I lost this week. We'll rematch next week and I'll beat it then.
And while wrestling is real in the sense of the physicality of it and like the laws of physics that interact it is still scripted. So winning 82 championships might not mean as much.
Yeah, considering that I would say like 99% of our scripted. There's only been a few occasions where the person didn't follow the script, and then of course down the road McMahon fired him.
Yes, it comes down to how much did Vince like you?
Yeah.
Actually, to be fair though, Vince does care about money. So if you could make him money, he tended to like you.
Yes. Yeah, that's usually how it worked out until you wanted more of his money because you said it was yours.
So, but yeah, so yeah, it's been a good week. How was your week?
My week was good. Battling this brutal cold here in Michigan. Not the full that what we had a few years ago, where it was like -4 to start the day before wind chill, but it's definitely been a little chilly out, and looks like we're not going to get above like 20 to 22 degrees for the next week at least. So it's not been too bad though. The sun's been out. We've actually had a lot of sun these last few days. A couple days, we had the snow.
Yeah, that's been so nice.
Yeah, the sun helps out a lot when it's like 12 out. So I can, I layer up. I wear 2 t-shirts and it's not a thick hoodie, but between all the layers I got and running just in and out of the stores when I'm working, I stay pretty warm. And then worst case scenario, I can always start my car ahead of time as I'm getting to it. So, but it's been all right. And the sun helps out because it keeps the car warm, and so I don't get into a cold car every time. And of course, having heated seats helps.
Yes. Yeah. We're in the 6 weeks of weather where I despise Michigan, but the other, so was that 46 weeks of the year, I do enjoy Michigan.
Yeah. So I saw you went out to breakfast the other day.
Yes. We made it out into the outside world, outside of the walls of our house. That was nice. It's such a difference eating in a restaurant versus carry out. It's just not the same. Some restaurants do better than others at carry out, but the food is so fresh, so hot when it comes to your table versus steaming itself in the container as you bring it home and cooling off, and then it's wet, soggy, not hot enough.
Well, that's part of I don't like to do breakfast too much as a takeout. So, but it was nice. I did breakfast last week, and then we did dinner one day at Boneheads over here in Willis. It was really good because I like the French onion soup, and I'm not going to get that to go. Just would definitely not be the same. So you got to have it in the crock there and everything else. So that was really good. So I enjoyed that, and so it's really nice that we can actually go and enjoy some restaurants and start supporting them the way we should, which is by actually going. Right, takeout's tough, and and stuff like that, and again, it's not like you said, it's not the same. So it's kind of nice to actually be back. Of course, our illustrious leader in charge of the state has already started threatening another shutdown because of this new variant. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So
oh well.
Don't want to get too political on that, but it has nothing to do with parties or anything else. It's just
that's right.
The woman.
So did you so I assume you watched. Well, how about this? Let's get our sponsors out of the way, and then we can maybe talk a little bit. Quick summary of the Super Bowl, commercials, WandaVision, and then our main topic.
All right. Well, I'm going to start us off with Loringer Family Chiropractic Center. I want to wish, first of all, Dr. Brian a happy birthday. It's his birthday today.
Happy birthday.
Dr. Honor the other day via text, and I mentioned I got a new smoker, and he's been wanting one. He ordered the exact same thing I got, new smoker grill, and he's real excited to get that in a few weeks. And he took a week off for his birthday to kind of get the house and everything ready to get a new smoker. So I think that's awesome for him. Very good. At Lawrenceur Family Chiropractic, which they are still open and have great doctors there right now, over in Belleville, they have Dr. Lisa and they have Dr. Corinne, who I saw yesterday. But your journey to wellness will begin here, where you can build a healthy lifestyle with chiropractic care. They do take great pride in providing the finest chiropractic care to each and every patient, offering on-site digital x-rays, massage therapy, orthotics by foot levelers, young living essential oils, aromatherapy, full line of vitamins, all in a family-oriented environment. You can give them a call at 734-697-4244. That is their Belleville, Michigan location. They're also located in Dexter, Michigan there. And you can kind of see that over here, or you can go right to LawrenceurFamilyChiropractic.com. You can even send a message through Facebook. You can just find right there online at Lawrenceur Family Chiro is where they're at on the Facebook there. So definitely check them out. I've been going there forever, and they are definitely something that helps keep me healthy and full of wellness going on. And then we also have
Team Titans of Real Estate. That's right. Where I was going to do something witty and funny, but I'm too tired for that. Anyway.
Well, I would argue that you're probably never really that witty and that funny, but hey, that's me.
That's right. But Team Titans of Real Estate, we are here for you. We utilize the latest in tools, technology, social media to maximize your home buying and selling experiences. But at the core of everything, we never forget this is still a people business, and relationships matter. And we always put that as our number one priority. And it's we're already into February, almost halfway through February. I can't believe it. It's flying by. The market is still hot. We got a couple listings coming up this week. Some past clients of ours are looking to sell houses, and we got some new buyers, and things are really moving. So it's a good time. It's still crazy. It's the Wild West if you're looking to buy. So you want to really pair up with realtors who understand what's going on and know how to maximize your available funds and the structure of your deal to put you in the best possible position to hopefully win the shootout that we call a bidding war. Even the other a few days ago, it had snowed. That was it Saturday morning, I think it was. We got a good amount of snow, and it
feels like it snows every morning anymore. But
yeah, right. But it was a pretty decent snow. We had clients who wanted to look at a house, so we're actually happy because we're hoping, well, maybe other people will cancel because of how bad the driving was. Nope. There was a 20-minute line to get, of realtors with their clients outside to get into the house, because people know if a good house hits the market, you got to move quickly. So part of that is having realtors who are ready to jump to it for you. You don't want somebody who turns their phone off after 6 p.m. because you might not, most people work during the day, and the only time they can see houses are at night. So we're available for you. We, whether it's morning, noon, or night, that particular showing was 8 a.m. showing, and there was a line of people. It's that bad.
So you guys should be like, your new slogan should be like, we're there for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. No house is too big. No commission is too big. Come on out.
Yeah, no commission is too big. That's right. No, but we work hard for our money, and, because while this is our job, we love helping people. And it really is a passion of ours to help you achieve the goals you have, because where you live, everyone has the same dream, ultimately. It may look different, but the dream is you want to live the best maximized life for you and your family. And a big component of that is the house you live in. And we take that seriously, and we want to help you find that house that will maximize your life for you and your family. So give us a call. My number, 586-549-6096. Jill Webler, 586-277-2145. You can see us online at Team Titans of Real Estate. You can follow us on Facebook, Team Titans RE. But give us a call. The initial consultation is free. Actually, our services are free. We only get paid if you actually buy the house and close on it. So give us a call. We'll help you out.
Awesome. Yeah, I say it every week. Driving around, mainly the Ann Arbor, Dexter area is my areas of deliveries, and I gotta tell you, I see a sign go up, and then like 2-3 days later, I see a sign that says sold on it. They're going fast, and I know there's a lot of new builds out there. But a lot of people don't want to necessarily get into a brand new build. They want to get into an existing place, or they're not looking to get a new build because of the fact that it's in a subdivision and they're looking to get a little bit of land with it. So definitely a lot of different options out there. And I've seen some out there that seem a little ways out, because I do deliver sometimes a little ways out, and they're selling too. So people aren't just looking to be in towns or in cities. They're looking for some good properties, and definitely a lot going on out there. So definitely, I recommend call Scott or Jill. They'll get you guys taken care of. And I know they primarily work in Southeast Michigan, but they can cover you pretty much anywhere in the state of Michigan. So check it out. So.
And even if you're moving out of state, give us a call. We just helped a friend of ours who was moving out of state, who they were moving over to Tennessee. We helped them sell their house here, but then we assisted them in finding a quality realtor out in the area. They were moving actually out to Knoxville, not far from the wonderful steakhouse out there that we ate at. Ye Old, what is it? Ye
Old Steakhouse.
Steakhouse, yeah.
Our late great friend Hugh Wilson Jr.'s family runs that, and as far as I know, they're still there. I haven't checked in a while. I assume they're still open and still running. Someday when things are better and I actually do an actual road trip, I'm going to plan on actually stopping and having dinner. And if his family's there, paying my respects. I haven't had a chance to do that. And Hugh passed away a few years ago, so hard to believe, because he's such a great guy. Looked just like Kevin Smith and dressed like him for the cons, and
even met Kevin Smith, didn't he?
He did about a year on his weight loss. He had some other issues. Weight was a big part of it, and he was really trying to get himself down, and unfortunately passed unexpectedly on us, and that's just too bad, because he's such a great guy. So he always took care of us as artists at the shows there. When we did the Adventure Con and then the Fanboy Expos, it was always really, really great to when we came out to the restaurant, and we never asked for anything, but he always gave us like a discount. But
we celebrated Kevin Lean's birthday at Old Steakhouse, so that actually shattered a belief I had. I thought Kevin Lean actually never was actually born. I thought he just always was there. I can never picture him as a child. I feel like he was born an old man.
He came out ready to go at it. So
we got to hook up with Kevin. We got to go out to dinner or something, or lunch with him at some point.
We'll have to figure that out. I'll talk to Kevin soon, and we'll try to figure something out on that. And it'd be fun to now that things are more open, we could try to head down there and meet up and grab a nice bite to eat and reminisce and tell stories and pick on Kevin.
He's a good guy. But so this past week, we had this weekend, we had the Super Bowl. We had Tom Brady proving once again that the more things change, the more things stay the same. I think people have really undersold what the accomplishment he did. People, you love him or hate him, and
pretty much, it's funny. Whenever I post anything, I always gotta have someone go, "Well, he's a cheater." No, he didn't cheat. He's not the one that deflated the ball. He's come out and talked about that. He took the punishment though, like a leader, and he came back out and won.
Well, and the thing is, every quarter, I remember at the time, like they talked to top quarterbacks about this, about what advantage you have to underflating the footballs, and every single quarterback said, it actually is worse for you to underinflate them. If you were going to cheat, you'd actually want to overinflate the balls, because the quarterback has far more control with a overinflated ball than a deflated ball. So, and then even the stats show the second half, when the correct footballs were being used, they actually did better. So the deflated balls didn't help.
And whether those want to believe that part or not, the thing you also look at is the fact that the defense, which has nothing to do with the type of footballs on the field, shut down the other team to only 7 points the whole game.
Right.
So, and then you look at what he did here, and I've been reading more and more after the game, and he tweeted everybody on the team at 3 words. All he tweeted them or texted them and said, "We will win." And all it was is and he did that with everything. This wasn't like, oh, I paid off the refs or I did this. Like people want to come out and give him. No, he's a leader. He's a winner, and he doesn't have to have the best stats in the world, because what he does, he works hard to inspire his team, and they all rally around him. Yeah. And he's shown that it wasn't just Belichick and Patriots. He showed he could do that anywhere else. And I see people here in Detroit, of course, saying, well, come to Detroit and do that. I think if he came to Detroit, I think he can inspire and lead the team to do very well, maybe even get a championship. But you have to bring Gronk with him, because Gronk's my second favorite.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But here's the thing with Brady. What you really got, people kind of take it for granted, his career. I mean, no one has done this. First of all, he was drafted in the 6th round. Nobody wanted him when to come from that. What was he, like 100 and something in the draft pick order or something like that? He
came out of the University of Michigan, had done well there, but typically quarterbacks from Michigan don't go on to do well in the NFL. It's kind of just for some reason. But he came out. Yeah, he wasn't the top pick. He was, at the time he was with the Patriots, he was the third backup quarterback. Yeah. He was the backup to the backup. And it just so happened that the main quarterback hurt, and I forget the names, who's there, and then the backup got hurt all around the same time. So Brady comes up, and Brady's like, I got one chance to make this right. And what did he do? He came out and he busted his butt and worked hard.
Drew Bledsoe.
Yes.
He was that's another amazing thing. Bledsoe was a really, really good quarterback. And Brady has so outshined him, you forget about him, he was a great quarterback. Brady,
it's work ethic. It's complete work ethic.
That's what I was getting at. Yeah. Brady, I think the secret sauce to Brady's success is he was always in that position where he had to work to be better. It was never a natural talent, a gift that he had that just outshined everyone, where he could just rely on the talent. And then as he got older, the talent fades, but he had no work ethic. He always had to push himself to make it to that next level. And it carried through. It's almost like the Captain America story in Marvel. They tried doing some test subjects. They had to find somebody. The best candidate ended up being this weak, little, scrawny Steve Rogers, who...
Well, because it was more than just physical. It's about the constitution you have and who you are as an internal person. And that's where that came out in terms of Captain America, and even in who Tom Brady is.
Yeah, and Tom Brady had to develop that to get to each level, whether it was college, and then it was to get into the NFL, and then it was to move up from the third string quarterback up to the main quarterback. And he developed this character and work ethic that really is unparalleled in all of sports. I mean, other than probably Michael Jordan type, someone like that. But Tom Brady has really mastered the discipline. He keeps his body in tune all year. He doesn't just party in the summer and when the NFL is off. And he really trains himself. But
he did. They had a thing with him on CBS Sunday Morning about 4 or 5 years ago. And it talked about what he does. And he talked about, he goes, I have a strict diet. I have a strict workout regimen. He goes, I get up the same time every day. He goes, he keeps it all. It's his routine. And he said, yeah, I'd like to do all this other stuff. He goes, but this is what I have to be now to stay in the physical condition I'm in. I mean, look at him, 43 years old. He looks the same as he did when he was 23. And that all has to do with the way he eats, the way he works out, everything he's doing.
He actually looks better now.
He does.
He's when he first got into the NFL, he had little chubby cheeks. Now he's got more of a defined look, and I think he feels better now than he did at that age, because he didn't have the system yet.
Yeah, and he'd worked with the trainers that to help develop this system that worked for him. Right. And I know some others have tried to do it, and they're like, I can't do it after a week. But you look at like what he's done though. He's been in 10 Super Bowls. He's lost 3.
Let's contrast that. Stafford's been in the NFL, what, 11 years?
No, but 11
years. His career? 11 years?
Yeah, Stafford's been 11 years, 0 wins in playoffs and 0 Super Bowls. So,
but people will say, but Stafford has more yards. Stafford has a better arm. Brady brings something to the table and this is why I think where sports are ruining themselves. They're becoming so reliant on statistics and the computer models Brady proves those computer models can only measure certain things. And it doesn't measure the heart. It doesn't measure the will. It doesn't measure the charisma that somebody has.
Let's look back and here I'm gonna list real quick the ones he's won and been in. But it was 2002. New England beat St. Louis. There was 36. It was in Super Bowl 38 when they defeated Carolina. That was 2 years later. The next year they went back to back when they defeated Philadelphia. For 39.
So wait, what was the first Super Bowl he won? Super Bowl
36. 36. And
this was Super Bowl 55.
Yeah. Yeah. 19 years difference. And
if you do the math. There's been 55 Super Bowls. He's won 7 of them. That's 12% of all Super Bowls he has won.
Right.
And his number is 12.
So you look at it. So it was 2002 to 2005. He won 3 Super Bowls. Then he lost in 2008, 2012. So he did not win another Super Bowl until 2015. 10 years between winning his third to his fourth. And that's when New England defeated Seattle. And then 2 years later, 2017, is fourth quarter comeback to Atlanta 34-28. People were done watching the game after the third quarter because they were down so much. I think he only had 7 or 10 points. I forget the actual number, but and he came back and just put on a display. And his first 2, and then not the third one, but then the fourth and fifth ones, he won the MVP. They lost. Now the thing is this: he's been in since 2017. He's only been in. He's been in 4 out of the last 5 Super Bowls. So 17 he won. 2018 they lost to Philly.
And every one of these, every year you listen to sports radio, every year Brady's too old. He needs to retire. He needs to go away. He's too old to come back. And every year they say this. He keeps coming.
Well, think about it. In 17, 18, and 19, he won 2 of 3. 2019, they defeated LA 13-3, which was definitely a big, heavy defensive game. And then this year, after not being in it last year, this year they defeated the reigning champs, Kansas City. And the thing is that it was a tough game for Kansas City. I love Kansas City. I like Mahomes. I think he's a great quarterback. He is definitely going to be around for a long time. I don't see him going away anywhere. And I heard the audio clip of him and Brady at the end on the field, and both of them just congratulated each other. And Brady told him to keep in touch. Brady, in a lot of ways, by beating him, kind of mentored a little bit. Like, I haven't won them all. You're not going to win them all. Doesn't mean you can't come back and win more.
But didn't Brady beat them 2 years ago?
No, that was L.A. The Rams.
The Rams. Oh, was it the playoff game they beat Kansas City in?
I thought they wouldn't have played Kansas City in the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they played this year. This season, Kansas City beat them in the regular season.
Okay.
Beat Tampa Bay. So him coming back and all I kept hearing all week was, well, the defensive coordinator for Kansas City is the same one that was with the Giants back when in 2012 when they came back and they beat Brady. Well, they only won 21-17, so they didn't beat them that bad. Things like that. So they were like, he knows how to shut Brady down. Mahomes is just the best. And then, of course, halfway through the game, you got Tony Romo, who just is a horrible announcer and shouldn't be announcing. But he's talking about, he goes, Mahomes just having a hard time. His big toe hurts. He may have to have surgery.
I know. They kept – and I was like saying how everyone makes excuses for Brady. They were –
No, what I saw in Mahomes was he came out and gave it his all. And the defense on Tampa Bay they changed up everything from before. And I think it surprised everybody on the Chiefs side that, how much they were aggressive. And the Chiefs were making mistakes. And they were mistakes on the Chiefs part. They weren't just refs siding with Brady. It was like, hey, look, here's a holding calls, things like that. Yeah. And just key moments that a couple of them contribute to that. And then you've got, like I said, Brady on the offense side with Gronkowski. That duo right there has had the most touchdowns together of any duo in football in the postseason. And then Antonio Brown got one, which was good because last time he was in the Super Bowl was 10 years ago, and this time he actually got a touchdown. And then I saw where he got like a $750,000 bonus, so good for him. And I have a feeling they were down to the 1 yard. That's Brady going, let's get you a paycheck.
Yeah. Well, and not that this is supposed to be a Super Bowl episode, so we'll make this short. But the other thing that's amazing is nobody has ever done this. You go from one team to another team and turn them into a championship team, especially in 1 year. there have been other major quarterbacks who have switched teams and have their careers completely went a different trajectory going to a new team.
Yep.
It's amazing to switch to a team and in 1 year learn their system, change their culture, bring on the people you need. All of these things happen because of Brady. Tampa Bay was not a great team. It's not
if you listen to the players talk from Brady to everybody else, they all said the same thing. When Brady came in, there was no ego. There was they started to gel right away and started working together and became a family group that could get this done. And that was the key. Was he didn't come in saying, "Hey, I got this, guys, because I'm Tom Brady." He came in and said, "Here's what we got to do."
Yep.
He had to convince Gronkowski to come in. It wasn't a hard convince, but he still had to convince him because he wanted his buddy there. Said, "Hey, come on, man, let's do this. We can come in here and work with this." And Gronkowski,
he just offered Gronkowski like a lifetime supply of beer.
Actually, Gronkowski's gotten some in better shape. He's actually, I don't think he's drinking anymore. He cut back before that.
He lost weight. He got more tone. He got faster. Brady kind of got him to care for himself. And it paid off.
Well, and then what Gronkowski brought was the fact that he had experience on championship teams.
Yep.
And that's what he wanted besides himself, because he had him doing that, say, this is what I work with Tom on, this is what I do. And he come in there and just worked hard, and the team was just great. I was, very impressed with him all year long. I'll be honest, I didn't expect him to win the Super Bowl this year. I thought next year.
Well, they had a rocky start. The first month or so. Their first 5 or 6 weeks.
They did really good. It was the mid part they started to break down.
Okay, yeah.
They did well the first few weeks. They had 1 or 2 losses, but then mid part they kind of had trouble. But then when they needed it, December into January, they brought it. But I just did
what Brady's good at.
Right. And I just didn't think they'd win it all, just for the fact that there would be that transition. But they really came together. You could see it at the end of November, them coming together. And so by them doing that, now I'm looking and go, wow, they're going to be contenders again next year. And we could definitely see a lot.
I believe he said he's coming back.
Oh, yeah. He wants to play, I think 2 more seasons is what he's kind of hinted at.
I think he wants 45. To hit 45. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
let's play till he's 45. And the thing is, he takes pay cuts to help out the team. So it's not about the money. He doesn't take these big contracts and does nothing to help the team get to the Super Bowl or even win a playoff game like in Detroit,
Yeah. But, to wrap up the Super Bowl, good job, Brady. Were there any favorite commercials? I felt this was a horrible year for commerals. The commercials
every year's horrible anymore. They haven't had good years in a long time. The best one was, I like the M&M one. I thought that was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
They had a couple good funny stuff. The guy smacks the back of the airplane seats, gives the guy back in his seat. Yeah, I'm sorry, I on purpose hit your seat. And then there was the one going
flat Matthew McConaughey, where he was flat.
That was a popular one.
That one, and then what was the other one?
Well, they did the Paramount Plus ones. Paramount Plus is what
those actually were
All Access is. Yeah, CBS All Access is becoming Paramount Plus as of March 4th.
And the best one was Beavis and Butthead laughing about her saying crap.
Yeah, that was funny. And that, so I was funny. Like, okay. So, but yeah, other than that, really,
overall,
most of them sucked.
Most of them sucked. Yeah. So, anyways,
but actually,
congrats
the last
to
thing
Tom Brady and
and the last thing on that is kind of harping on it a little bit. It's not trying to show how great Tom Brady is. It's the fact that what we do in comics is kind of what Brady does in football. He strives to become the best and do what he can, and that's kind of what we're talking about with creating comics. Is no matter what you do, you can definitely work hard to get somewhere. And Kevin might have joined us a few minutes ago and was listening in. Hey, Kevin! I know Kevin's a big Tampa Bay fan. And not as much. I don't know if he's not much of a Brady fan. He is. We haven't really discussed it, but I knew he was a Tampa Bay fan, so I think he's excited about his team winning. So,
right now, one thing that did come up to start transitioning is let me pull this up and share it. Share screen. Where is it? Here we go. I'm building up suspense. We had the commercial, the teaser trailer for the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Don't know what this is. That must be his new costume they're going to unveil during the show.
Kevin got $70.
Hey, all right, Kevin. I think though, Gronk, you owe Gronk a beer for that 70.
Yeah, I'd take him up for a beer anytime.
Mm-hmm.
But, real quick, speaking of winning, you saw the streaker, and it turns out the guy placed a $50,000 bet there would be a streaker at the game, and his buddy went and distracted him so he could run on the field. While I don't condone it, I found it hilarious that, someone would go to those lengths and I guarantee from now on, every bet will say, yeah, we'll take the bet. There's going to be a streaker. No, you or your friends or anybody can't be the streaker.
I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of caveat to that because he did it himself. That's like fixing a bet. I mean, isn't that like placing a bet on your own team in sports? I mean, you're not allowed to do that. So,
well, I think that,
my prediction is he will be stripped of the winnings. Is my prediction.
I doubt that, only for the fact that if it's not in the I doubt that, only for the fact that they didn't have it in the disclaimer on the rules. If it said there would be it didn't say it could be him or somebody else. So, and that's why he went. But we did have some trailers, movie trailers, and definitely TV trailers. So, and so the full trailer
looked really good.
Yeah, the full online one, I still got to watch that. I caught like glimpses of it different times, but I guess we see them both use the shield.
Yes. So I think they're kind of, in the comics, each of them independently became Captain America.
Yes.
I have a feeling they're going to do this co-captain thing where they both are using the shield together. So it'll be interesting.
I'm thinking that we might see the Falcon eventually get his own shield with his own design.
Well, he's using his wings like a shield.
Yeah,
he's attached
he said that, but look at his new outfit though,
right?
And stuff like that. So I'm thinking, okay, I could see them going that route, and then Winter Soldier taking the full mantle of Captain America, and then there used to be one called, I think it was a U.S. agent or something like that was one. So
Patriot,
and Patriot, or Patriot, something like that. I don't know. I remember U.S. agent, and I'm not sure that was Marvel or not. So.
There was a Captain America with that black, red, and white outfit. I forget.
Yeah, it was U.S. agent, and and actually that could be even the way they go with Winter Soldier.
Could be, yeah.
And that
but they did the trailer looked great for this. I'm definitely geeked for it. When's this come out? It was like mid or late March.
It comes out like the 19th of March.
Yeah, so it must be like right after WandaVision ends.
Oh yeah. No, it's like literally like the week after or something like that.
Great.
So, but yeah, let me share this here with you real quick. And that, so there's just a quick piece. That's U.S. agent right there.
There it is. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's U.S. agent. So I could see one or the other becoming U.S. agent, and the other being the new Captain America. So I think, and again, that could be something that we won't see in this series, but see transfer towards the movies.
Right.
So, but we had WandaVision too last weekend, and WandaVision's getting pretty good.
It is. It definitely is. Let's see. It's already 10:34. So let's make this like a 5-minute bit or less. But I think it was a monumental episode. It's shifting the entire direction of the future of the Marvel Universe. What do you think?
I think so. We're seeing, it's been like the last 2 episodes have been like really showing how they're changing everything. And what we got what they call the Luke Skywalker reveal.
Yes.
At the end, which I think everybody called it. So there's nobody that, didn't think it was going to be this, but what happened was I think about 50% of people had called on which one it was going to be. So, yeah.
So, spoiler alert for those who don't know, but it looks like we have the introduction to the official multiverse for the Marvel Universe with the addition of the Quicksilver from the X-Men universe that was previously with 20th Century or Fox, whatever. What do they go by now? Well, they're gone now, I think.
Well, they're gone. Well, it's like I don't forget what they're calling them. I think they've changed the name a couple times, different things.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, that universe, it was with the the fun Quicksilver. He made the appearance as Wanda's brother. Now she can read minds, and so she did recognize him as her brother, but she did say in a questioned kind of way. And then also the other, the people watching the show within the show, she's like, what? She recast her brother. So they also recognized that was Quicksilver, but not the Quicksilver from this universe. So they weren't trying to cast the old actor to play the same character.
Right. So I think it's interesting because this what we're seeing now is I think we're seeing a break in the multiverse.
Yep.
There was also, I guess, people were pointing out from the last Spider-Man movie, which is the last Marvel movie to come out since the pandemic. There was a scene with Samuel Jackson walking by a screen. You can see Hex, and the Hex is a big part of the Marvel universe and comics and that. So we're going to see, I think that's part of it too. That's to kind of nod to it because Spider-Man takes place a year after. So all the WandaVision stuff is taking place prior to Spider-Man.
Correct.
So a lot of that is tying in there.
Right. So in the Spider-Man movie, the multiverse was introduced, but it was a hoax by what's his name? The
Mephisto Mephisto, right?
No, he's the devil
Mephisto.
guy. The guy with the globe head. I'm blanking. Anyways, Jake Gyllenhaal, his character.
Yes.
It was a made-up, fabricated story, but then they indicated at the end that maybe it was real. So not through him, but that it does exist. So now with WandaVision, they keep bringing up the CMBRs, the cosmic magnetic radiation, which is the leftover radiation from the Big Bang. This is also the same power source that Wanda taps into for her powers. Mysterio, thank you, Kevin. Yeah. I in my head I kept saying Visterio for like vision. I'm like, it's not Visterio. But she taps into this Big Bang energy for her powers. Well, the theory is through her grief, she's accidentally creating a new Big Bang that is bringing either creating the multiverse or opening dimensions into the multiverse. One of the two. We don't know which yet. But,
and I've kind of always thought that even though it was shown to kind of be a hoax in the Spider-Man, they still kind of set up like, I think he realized it was there. And there is a possibility he actually did cross over, but couldn't control and go back. And he was trying to set something up to do that.
Well, and another part of the potential crossover is they used the J. Jonah Jameson from the old series in the end scene. So was that a crossover from the multiverse?
And that's possible with the fact that, but it's no longer doing the Daily Planet. He's doing a TV show.
Yeah, he was like a blogger. Some kind of like a shock jock blogger or something like that. I forget what it was.
I think it's more like a Larry King type.
Yeah, there you go. But so
I think I think that the what we're seeing now from WandaVision is the fact that Spider-Man: Far From Home has a lot more going on than even we thought originally. And it's all setting up, tying into what we're going to see with the Doctor Strange, with all the other movies that are mentioned come out over the next year or two, as they're opening this up. And again, they've been speculating for a long time. This is, opening up for them to bring in the Fantastic Four. We've been trying to figure out how they're going to bring in the X-Men. Well, they just did. They brought in the first, X-Men from 20th Century Fox. It's going to tie into all this. And I still think we've talked about this before with Deadpool. They've announced a new Deadpool movie, and the fact that at the end of the second one, all the, he had the time jump, stuff like that. I think that's going to play a part of it too.
I do wonder, will we get a Deadpool introduction through this show at like for the finale? Will we get Deadpool as a end credit scene entering into our universe?
I don't think so. I think Deadpool will pop up in one of the movies.
Think so?
Yes. And part of the reason is they just started talking about they finally greenlit the third movie. So they're working on that, but I would expect to see him pop up in the Doctor Strange movie and I can see that as an end credit type bonus there.
Yeah. I just think of it more in tone, a better fit for this one, because there is a cheeky element to WandaVision that I think Deadpool would be I could see Deadpool crossing over into her TV series.
I could see that if they do a second season.
Yeah,
which they've only said. I said this is limited. I could see that. I think it's too soon. I think it's too soon for the fact that they've got other stuff they have to set up first.
Yeah,
to incorporate him into it, and I think that's going to tie in. I can see that more with a Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Or even I could even see it when they do that Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special prior to the third movie.
Yep. So that would be a good spot.
Yeah.
The last thing for me on WandaVision is They introduced a new element in that the one character in the show realized something wasn't right and asked Wanda, should we do a retake?
Yes.
She broke character, asked Wanda, should we take it from the top? And Vision's like, wait a minute, what was that about? So she obviously is somehow in on it. She knows what's going on. She knows she's playing a role. So we'll have to see how that unfolds.
Well, and they keep saying, I forget which one they talked about. She supposedly is a major Marvel character.
She's one of the theory I keep reading. I forget the character's name, but she's like one of the arch nemesises to Scarlet Witch. So they also revealed Scarlet Witch does not have the name Scarlet Witch. Remember, they were asking like, well, does she go by any weird aliases or anything? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
So she's not known as the Scarlet Witch to the general population. I don't even think they've ever used the word Scarlet Witch, but I don't know.
No, they didn't. And I think that's something that's going to be her version of the character in the X-Men was Scarlet Witch. And I think that's why they never used it in Marvel, because they didn't have the rights to that particular version of her. But they can definitely do that. But Catherine Hahn they're saying she plays Agatha Harkness, and that she's also part of has quite a bit of powers and stuff like that. So
that will come in the Halloween episode. Kevin saying, yeah, they dress up in the tradition, that old style Scarlet Witch costume and Vision costume, which will be funny to see.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see on that. And then we'll see what whether or not Catherine Hahn is as Agatha Harkness or not as it goes on. But she seems to be in on it. So I think there's something to do there. And she is supposedly supposed to be an older witch, so she has powers too. And that would explain some things within the episodes too with her. So it'd be kind of cool that. So, but yeah, so now we got our main topic, which is we've been talking about creating comics these last several weeks.
That's right. So we opened up with inspiration, and coming up with story and characters. Mm-hmm. Then we moved on to last week, the actual writing process. Yep. And this week we're going to get into now that you've written your script, getting into the drawing and doing your initial layouts and your pencils. Here's a quick little screenshot of page 2, I think it is. Yeah, page 2 of Crimson Shadows 1, where you kind of see the layovers of the various stages from pencils to finished product. This was a great, fun thing to do. This was my first time working as like a full team on a comic. I did the rough layouts. J. Travis Smith did the pencils. Kevin Miner, who keeps popping in here, he did the inks. I did colors, and then Brett did the lettering and final layouts and stuff like that. So it was a true process we implemented in this, and it was really fun. So we're going to talk a little bit about how do you get on that process? What's the initial step? You've got a variety of things that lead up to it, but. So just to remind people our background, Brett, you've done a number of comics yourself. What do you got in your repertoire?
Through my self-published Boomtown Press, I did Boomtown's Adventures of Carl, The Expendables, also Socrates, Papadopoulos, Outlaw Gunslinger was a couple shorts
Boomtown
I did.
Scabs.
Yeah, Boomtown Scabs. And then outside of that, I worked on the Nightmare Cinema comic, which was part of Chiller Drive-In, which is a local horror host, Wolfman Mac. I did the Fat Mama comics for Steam. I did write a 50-page graphic novel for one of my favorite bands, Bowling for Soup. Unfortunately, that one never came out. Yep. Would have been nice to have seen that come out, though. I saw some of the pages done, just never got finished. Yep. I just did the writing on that one. And then, of course, I did some writing for the upcoming next week, Poe Macabre 2.
Next week.
We'll be talking more about that next week.
Wednesday evening, next week.
Yep.
We launched issue 2.
Yep. And then I've been involved in doing it since 2004. First cons were in 2005, and done them every year since, all over the country.
Yep. And then I've been involved with a number of comics myself. Most recent are the Bardstone comics here, Crimson Shadows 1 and 2, which is in progress, going to be coming out soon. Wretched Realms 1. I've got my Emmanuel God With Us book. We've got I've got some standalone books I've done that aren't comics, but they're in book format. did work for some other independent comic companies, Legion of Justice, which was supposed to come out last year for the Comic-Con season, but got put on hold when the whole world went on hold. So hopefully Legion of Justice will come out this upcoming year, because I love how it turned out, and it kills me. I can't share the artwork with the world. It's like it's so beautiful, and it's a fun superhero comic book through HB Comics. They're based out of New England, so can't wait till that can get released as well. So the point being this: we've worked on a number of comics in a variety of capacities. Some of them we have done from start to finish as individuals. Some of them we have worked for other people in certain capacities, and some of them we worked on our own projects, but as a collaborative piece where we had a whole process in place. So we understand the process from a variety of angles is what, we're trying to let you know.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about, starting to pencil, and a lot of people always start with the basic, which is thumbnail. You got to figure out how you're laying out. Now, some people actually do fairly detailed thumbnails. They basically they rough out the entire book as almost what some people consider finished pencils. And then others do basic stick figures, which is always crucial because people at show goes, I can't even draw a stick figure. I'm like, well, neither can we. That's why we draw more elaborate.
Yeah. I always say, don't worry. No one has ever hired me to draw a stick figure. So you're okay. So, as long as you can draw other things.
Yeah, and we've got Matt Fazell, another Michigan artist, comic book guy, who's been for years has made a living off of doing stick figures. So.
That's true. So you can, if all you can draw is stick figures, I always, you can make a living. But I always say stick figures must be the hardest thing to draw, because that's what everybody says. I can't even draw a stick figure. But Brett was talking about thumbnails is the first step. Like here's an example, page 2 from Crimson Shadows, number 1. This is all I did. It's the thumbnails. So before you get into the drawing, what you have to realize is there's more to telling the story than the art in the panels. The layout of your pages and the camera angles you set up are just as important to the flow and the storytelling as the artwork itself. So I like to I'll just get out just some lined paper and draw some rectangles that represent the page, and just quickly looking at my script, figure out how many panels am I going to have on this page. Just rough. And you can see here, this was very, very rough. It's not meant to be a finished product. It's meant for me to just know, is it flowing? Am I capturing what I need? Because if you just jump into the artwork, it might look pretty panel by panel, but it might not flow properly.
Yeah. And that's the key. We've talked about this before. You have to plan your pages out. And that's where doing rough thumbnails. Now you can do, this is even more detailed than some people do. Literally, people will do just a basic, this character here, this character there. I've seen people use the lined paper to line up the pages they like and start laying out what they want. And then what doesn't work, change page, start over again on that same page. And they're using, I've seen different colored pens just to indicate different characters, because they're literally just doing a circle for the head and a line, and that's it. And they're just trying to get laid out, figure out where they're going to go with everything, because you want to make sure the story flows. You've got the script, so now you got to make sure panel to panel, as you're reading through it, it flows from how you want it to move. And that's always just the basic on the artwork first. I mean, then from there, then you can start fleshing out the drawings and going from there.
Right. Yeah. So let me flip to a couple other pages here just to give examples. Let's see. We got, where's my screen with that? There it is. So if I can flip through, here's like page 7. You can see how rough that is. It's not meant to be a finished product at all. So I did this just to get the layout. This is Dracula up here, and then he's looking down at him. And I sent this on over to our penciler, J. Travis Smith. And from here, he can now see, okay, here's the angles. And this combined with the script, combined with us talking, we would do a phone call and we would talk through each panel. What am I trying to get? What's the lighting going to be like? What mood am I going for? And I would convey that to him. And then he would draw what the final panels would look like for the.
But I think that's an important thing to point that you just did there. We've talked about this before with the writing in that is once you get going on it, when you have a separate writer, separate artists that are dealing with this, is you want to talk about it after the initial layout. And if the writer is not doing any of the layouts and the artist is doing the initial layouts, then they look over together. It's like, okay, I like this, don't like that. And you want to work with that in movement. And that's where, the team part of it comes in and is very important on that.
Yeah. So you can see how it's rough. It's just meant to be. Here's Wretched Realms, page 3. This was my initial layout here. Now this one, I was going to be doing the inks on it as well. So I did a little bit more since I knew I was going to be doing the finished product as well. I went a little more detailed with the layouts because then it was going to be less work at the ink stage. But you can see the background, that's my buildings. I just scribbled in some kind of outline for buildings in the background. That's all it is.
And you were doing this all on a Cintiq, correct?
Yes, this is digital. The Cintiq tablet drawing right on the screen. Then this was the next.
And that's a benefit of that is having that ability to say, okay, I can draw the foreground stuff, and then later you can go on a different layer and really work on your backgrounds, or draw them completely separate and incorporate them into it later. So that's a digital trick that works great.
And because I was drawing for myself, I knew what the image I had in my head. If I was drawing this for Travis, for instance, if there was a specific building in the background I'd wanted, I would have drawn it out a little bit more, just so it was a little more detailed to give him a better idea of what I'm shooting for. But so after you get all your layouts done, your focus in this stage is composition, flow of story. And when there's high action, you want the pace to be fast. If it's meant to be a more intimate moment or whatever, you want to slow down the pace, and you might use more panels to break it up and cause the reader to slow down. So the positioning all matters. So this is what the intention of this is do I have the feel I want and the flow? Once you determine that, then you can move on to your pencils. Now this is, once again, there's different levels of pencils. There's rough pencils, there's finished pencils. And a big part of this will be your inker. Whoever's doing your inking next, you may want to do more or less. Like if you have an amazing inker and they understand what they're doing, you might just say, they might work well off of rough pencils, and you just say, here you go. If you have some, but if you, like in my case here, with Crimson Shadows issue 2, for instance, I'm doing a lot of the pencils on there. Kevin Miner's handling the inks. Now in there, I have a very specific vision in my head of what I want for my pages with the lighting and the direction of the lights and all that. So I'm going high end for him, passing it over to him so that he can do it. Part of that is too, because he lives in Indiana, I'm here. We don't have time to really talk through every panel, and we're both really busy between our own projects and then this collaborative piece as well. So I'm trying to convey as much as I can through the drawing to him. So he can just, when he has the available time, he can go in and just ink over it. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it just depends on what level of communication you have and everything else. So in this case, I was going to be doing the inks. So I did a higher level of pencils because I was going to ink right over my own pencils to make it how I wanted. Here you see the flats. We'll get into this down the road. Cheryl Lima did the flats, and then you'll see this is the final product. So you can kind of see the progression there, how it came about. So those are the different steps, but it's all everyone has different processes. There's no one right way. How about you, Brett? When you were going from script to print to making the issue, what was your process?
After writing, I always talk to whoever's going to do the drawing, and we go ahead and go over the script a little bit. We go over the script itself, and then I pretty much have always said, hey, I tell them, so you kind of got carte blanche here, just kind of stick to the script. But as you're doing the panels, if you feel like, oh, you need an extra panel here and there, let me know what you're doing. Because I can always, being the fact that I did the lettering, I can always adjust dialogue and things like that, or add or remove dialogue depending on the panels. Sometimes you get a little word heavy when you're writing, and like, okay, I got to trim this down a little bit. I don't need all this extra stuff. I'm saying the same thing like 2 or 3 times, just not the same way, but it still conveys. It's no need to reiterate it that much. And then sometimes spacing how the dialogue goes based on the panels. A lot of times I did the coloring too. So I would get the finished pencils and or inks, and sometimes when I just got pencils, I did just a digital trick to convert them to darker lines and then colored them from there, and that gave me the finished image I wanted before I did the lettering on that. But definitely, it's always about kind of conveying what I like. I try to, first early scripts I didn't have it laid down by pages. Now I try to lay out by page more because I got a little more into like, okay, I got to make sure this is flowing right, and here's how I see the pages flowing. This dialogue. So I tell them, you got to fit. This has got to fit in this space here.
Yeah, that's an important part too to convey to your artist, because if you, let's say you have a big page, but there's going to be heavy dialogue, you want to make sure the artist knows, like, hey, don't spend hours on that background because it's all going to be covered up with word bubbles.
Right.
It does no one good. You're paying this person to work for you. You don't want to be paying for a bunch of artwork that's never going to be seen. So that's something to keep in mind too. Plan out your word. Think about, and in the layout phase, while I'm laying out the things, I'm picturing that in my head. Okay, if there's something in the background I want to make sure is seen, how is this going to be laid out so that you see the artwork of the main character, you see whatever it is you want to make sure people see, but you still have room for the words and dialogue to be on the page too. So you want to really pay attention to that.
You don't want to have a box this big and dialogue this big.
Yes. Yeah.
That's something to keep in mind too.
Right. So it's there. So keep in mind, once again, the key parts, you got layouts, rough pencils, finished pencils.
Yeah.
The layouts, the key is flow, composition. Does the pacing work for what you're telling? And in that process too, keeping in mind your dialogue, how much space is going to be needed for your script to be on the page, and then maybe editing to say, okay, there's no way all that dialogue is going to fit on this page. So I have to chop it up. What is the bare essentials so I can minimize it to what's needed, but still have the room for the artwork to tell the story.
Yep.
Then you move on to rough pencils. Rough pencils is a great phase where, okay, so I would do the layouts, very rough, send them to Travis. He would do a rough page. It's once again, it's the composition, but it's very rough. The line work is nice, but he's not going into details with the shading and lighting and all that. And he just sends it and just say, hey, is this what you want? Is this? And then if I have changes, I can say, I'm not liking the expression. That's your time to edit that. Yeah. Tell him, change this up, or can you move him over here? Whatever you want there. And once you approve that, then he would go in and do the final pencils where he's putting all the detail in so that we can then send it on to the inker who's going to now add all the black inks. So each stage has its own thing. And like I said before, it's going to matter. Are you doing this for yourself and you are the next step in the process, or are you doing it with someone else? How much communication are you going to have with that person? So how much detail do you have to do up front to pass on? How little can you do? And part of that is just the working relationship you develop with the other person.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. And that's going to be key. Communication is key when you're dealing with somebody on this, and you want to keep that flowing. So that way, all information is given to the person that's on the next step. And then once that's done and you're ready to work with somebody else, or you're back to yourself, then from there you can make any other additional changes you need. But we're going to get more into more of the finished drawing and inking next week.
Yeah. So like I said, with Kevin, him being in Indiana, it's not like we can hang out and easily cover this stuff. We both have our regular jobs that we do. I'm a realtor. He works for a large international corporation. But we have our regular jobs that we do, but then we do our artwork in the evenings and weekends, and we have our own independent projects. So we don't have that time to really communicate. So since I'm doing the pencil phase and I know what I want, I'm getting it down on paper as detailed as I can. So he could just jump in, do his part, get out, so he can get back to doing his Poe book. So that's where we're at with that. So
yeah, and having someone that's a good inker works too. I've
been so happy with Kevin's inks. They've been looking great. Can't wait to show everyone Crimson Shadows too.
Well, it's like with first Crimson Shadows, I got like 3 days notice to, hey, you get to do a cover. So I roughed out, literally, all I sent Kevin was just a rough image, and Kevin inked and colored and finished it up and knocked it out of the ballpark of what needed to be done. And that's where you can get the true test of someone that's a good inker and then handling the colors as well. And you'll see all that in Poe Macabre too, because Kevin took my story I wrote and created this great 4-page visual of it that is just phenomenal. And I'm excited for you guys to see it.
Yeah, and also to give another shout out to Kevin, when you're choosing an inker, understand an inker is more than just somebody who's tracing the lines that are there. There is an artwork, there's an art to inking. Because you're working with pure black and whites in this phase, and Kevin has, from years of knowing him, I've always loved his interpretation of the solid black and whites, and it's inspired me in how I did Wretched Realms and even Crimson Shadows. I've changed my style a bit with my pencils to try to get more of that solid blacks in there, and accepting that than what I used to do. And Kevin does such a great job with getting that contrast in there. And so it's there, with Crimson Shadows, I think you can see it really well, how each of our styles built on each other to make a really awesome final product at the end. So, it's been fun. I've been enjoying doing these Bardstone projects way more than my individual projects, because we're working as a true collaborative team. So it's a lot of fun.
Yep, and hopefully this year we'll be seeing you guys at some Comic-Cons. You'll be able to see the finished products we have so far.
I know, we have like a ton of stuff. I can't wait to do it. It's going to be, we'll have Poe issue 2, which starts next Wednesday. Don't forget, people. So tune in. You'll get, you want to get the early bird specials when it goes live. You can follow on, if you go on Kickstarter, look up Poe Macabre Master, look up Kevin E. Meinert. You'll find it on there. You can follow the page. And so when it goes live, you'll get noticed. Get a notice. So it's good stuff. It's been a lot of fun. We got Crimson Shadows 2 coming out. We're working on other stuff as we speak as well. It's a lot of good stuff.
Yep, we should have all new stuff for you guys this year, and it's going to be a whole new Comic-Con for us. But, hey, join us next week. We'll talk more about the inking process, get into the details on that, show you some more pages as we've worked through some of the books we've done. And we're also going to talk a little bit about Poe Macabre, so we'll get into that and preface for the 7 o'clock launch party we'll have next Wednesday night here right on Odd Musings Bardstone channel, as well as our YouTube Odd Musings channel. So join us next week. We'll have a lot of fun, talk some more stuff, and get a little more WandaVision in too. And no Super Bowl next week.
No Super Bowl.
See y'all next week.
Take care.